Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, I thought it'd be good to talk about shooting, because shooting seems to be the most controversial thing so far about NBA 2K25, and I'm not just talking about my team, I'm talking about in general. I feel like shooting is the most controversial thing so far about this year of my team, basically. So I think it's a good topic to discuss in this video. Basically share my thoughts on where I think shooting is, if I like it or not, and what I think maybe should be tweaked, if anything. So just gonna share my thoughts in this video, and if you don't agree with me, that's totally fine. You don't have to agree with me. That's fine. I just think it's important to, I'm going to share my thoughts and basically explain why I'm thinking the way that I am. So, yeah, before we hop into it, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 30,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day. Would really appreciate it if you'll do subscribe. And without further ado, let's hop right into it. So, shooting this year, there's a few things that I think people are, arguing about, I guess. And number one is just the fact that it's hard to shoot. Like, high risk reward, you shoot on high risk, you're not going to make any whites, right? If you're shooting with the button. And it is basically impossible to hit more than a few threes in a row with high risk, especially on these higher difficulties. Like if you're shooting on rookie, which is what freestyle basically starts on, then yeah, it's going to be easy to shoot. But if you're shooting on harder difficulties, especially in game, there is RNG to shooting, especially after your first couple of shots. The green window shifts and changes, and it becomes much later in your like fourth, fifth, sixth shot with a player after greening. It's basically designed to make it harder to green your shots, and green them in succession by basically changing the timing of your release queue. According to Mike Wang, the release queue itself, if you're playing on set point, for example, the set point of the jump shot is where you should be releasing the shot every single time. And even if the jump shot speeds up or slows down slightly, which it sometimes does apparently, the set point is going to be the right green window or the push timing or whatever the case may be. So you're the spot in your jump shot that you're supposed to be looking for with your visual cue is the same. With that being said, if you shoot with muscle memory, you can't really shoot with muscle memory after your first couple of greens with cards this year. Not to mention the green window itself is small. And if you're playing on high risk, I'm being totally honest right now. I play on high risk. I don't know how much of a big difference you get from high risk versus like normal risk or low risk. And those hit whites. I'm almost getting to the point where I'm considering just playing on normal risk because I'll hit a couple whites a game. And I mean, at least like maybe one white a game. And I just think it doesn't change a ton with the way that your jump shot already changes the timing slightly on it for the green windows and stuff. I just think that there might honestly be not be that much of a benefit to shooting with the right stick, or to shooting, I'm sorry, with the with high risk on. Now, shooting with the stick is interesting because I don't know who asked for this. I'm being totally honest. I certainly didn't. And I think a lot of y'all also did not ask for a new style of shooting entirely. And I will admit, T-Mac is, for whatever reason, one of the hardest cards to shoot with rhythm shooting. I'm not really entirely sure why that is, but I do think T-Mac, I mean, rhythm shooting is good, clearly. I'm not sure if it's significantly better than shooting with the button if you're good with the button, but maybe if you get better at rhythm shooting, like I'm not very good at rhythm shooting. As you can see, I'm messing up my push timing or my tempo literally every single time. So it's much easier, I feel like, to rhythm shoot with other cards for whatever reason. I don't know why T-Mac specifically is a card that I struggle to rhythm shoot with. But I just think, I don't know. I think rhythm shooting is, if you get good at it, it can definitely be very good. And I've already played against a few people who are good with rhythm shooting. And I find that I'm even able to rhythm shoot pretty well with certain cards, although I haven't practiced it that much. But I don't think you should have to rhythm shoot to have success, because it makes it really hard to shoot with the button or shoot with the stick after doing dribble moves and stuff. And it's just like, it complicates the system of the game, and I just don't think it's necessary, personally. Like, I just think rhythm shooting is kind of an unnecessary thing in this game, as my push timing on Russ's shot has been late every single time. There we go, I agree on that one. I feel like if you shoot with the button, though, you should be able to shoot, if you're good at your timing with high risk reward, you should be able to consistently green, just like you're able to consistently green with the stick, supposedly. Although you're not really, I think there's RNG to the stick as well to a certain extent. There shouldn't be RNG to shooting, in my opinion, which basically means you hit the green window and the shot doesn't green, which is something that 2K Labs has already proven does exist. And it's just like, I don't think that shooting is in a state right now where it is user-friendly enough, nor does it create a very big advantage for a skillful player. And I feel like with high risk reward, if you're playing on high risk reward, you're not making any whites, you should have either a pretty big green window or if you're not going to have a pretty good big green window, which I don't have a problem with not having a huge green window, the green window should at least stay consistent. So then you're getting rewarded if you are good at your shot timings and good at shooting. And if the green window is changing constantly, if that's intended to combat Zens, well then maybe they need to install an anti-cheat. Because Zens are still going to Zen no matter what. And yeah, they might miss more shots with a Zen this year, but it's also going to affect the regular shooter and the player who's actually trying to play with skill and not trying to cheat. That person is also going to be affected by the changes in the green window and the shifts where the green window is literally multiple milliseconds. Like it starts several milliseconds after it starts when your first shot on your fourth shot. When you green consecutive shots, they just make it harder and harder to green consecutive shots for no real reason. And I don't think it's necessary, and I don't think it's helpful. And it just doesn't, I don't understand why this is the system that 2K25 has decided to put into place. I mean, they really need to find a way to invest into an anti-cheat is what the real truth is. Because if they're trying to counter Zens with this, then I don't know. And you definitely don't need to force people to shoot with the stick. Like, that's never been, they've tried to do it multiple times in the past. There have been multiple stick shooting systems. There was a shot aiming system in 2K21. I don't know if y'all even remember that. It turned out to not be that good after they nerfed it after like the first week. It was really good the first week and then they nerfed it. But it's just, the stuff that they are doing with this game is just stuff nobody asks for sometimes. Like, I don't think that shooting needs to be massively screwed with to prevent zenning or whatever the case may be. And again, nobody asked for a stick shooting method. Like, I don't think this is something that anybody was like, oh, you know what I want this year is I want to be able to shoot with the stick. I don't know of anybody who said that. Maybe you did, but I don't understand whose idea that was and why that was the idea that they decided to go with this year. Was we're going to put a buff on shooting with the stick compared to shooting with the button. Nobody asked for that. I struggle to see the logic behind the decisions that 2K makes at times, and screwing with the green windows even on high risk reward, you're just not getting a very big reward. I feel like, and it almost entices people to play on the lower risk rewards, which they doesn't reward your skill for shooting as much because you're going to hit whites, and it makes your green window smaller as well, but you'll hit some whites. Like, it's just, I don't understand what their plan is with shooting. And honestly, if it were me, I would want a high risk reward system where, and I understand Zens are a problem, but you can't screw up the entire shooting system just to try to combat Zens. And so I would, if it was me, I wouldn't have rhythm shooting even in the game. But if they want to leave rhythm shooting in the game, you know what, it is what it is. It doesn't seem like it's super necessary to become good, although the better you get at rhythm shooting, the better it seems like it does give you some benefits compared to shooting with the button, although I don't think it's massive if you're good in other areas, and I don't think it's a must. I would personally say that rhythm shooting is not a must. Some people may already believe that it is, but for me, I don't really think that is the case. But with that being said, I do think that you shoot high risk, high reward should have a guaranteed green window. And if you are a skillful player, you got a small green window, but it's guaranteed. You hit the green window, you green the shot every single time. This is a video game. This isn't real life. They don't need to tune down 3-point percentages. I mean, I've heard people saying, oh, but nobody shoots higher than 40-ish% from 3 in real life. This is a video game. If you're skilled at shooting, you should be able to green your open shots. The game should not be changing the timing of your shots and the timing of your green window just to make it harder for you to shoot, to lower your green percentage and lower your shooting percentage. That doesn't make sense. This is a video game. I think the over pursuit of realism, and this is something that applies to multiple areas of this game. It's not just shooting, but I think it applies to multiple areas of the game. That the pursuit of realism in video games, and especially in 2K, I actually think is one of the things that has made 2K less fun to play over the last couple of years. In my personal opinion, I think a lot of other people would agree with that as well. And like being able to do simulation stuff and have pro play animations and stuff that looks realistic to real life and all that is cool. But the over reliance on removing anything else that is fun just doesn't make a ton of sense to me. And it's something that I've never understood about the last couple of years of 2K and why they continue to nerf the ability to boost with the dribbler. Like should be able to create space with dribblers. And it's just, you have to dribble in place now to create any sort of space, basically, is the most effective way to do it, because you can't really burst. It's just, nobody asked for a rhythm shooting system, man. I just don't understand why they insist on changing things that don't always need to be changed and keeping things that people don't want. Like, I just think they overcomplicate systems like this in their game that aren't necessary, and I don't think things are going to change. Like, I'm not expecting rhythm shooting to go away, but I would love some sort of patch to shooting with high risk reward where you just have a guaranteed green window and they don't screw with that stuff. Like, invest in an anti-cheat to counter Zens, because Zens don't need to, I don't know. I think that Zens are not a excuse for screwing with the green windows for a good player. I don't know. Can you not have some sort of anti-cheat system that when it recognizes an unfamiliar device being plugged into a controller, it doesn't let the person play? Like, how is that not a... I don't understand how it's not a system. I don't know. This year is frustrating me in certain ways. I actually do kind of like the gameplay, but I just think at times they ruin stuff that doesn't need to be ruined, and they add things that people don't ask for and stuff like that, and I just don't totally understand that, to be completely honest. It's confusing to me. So, do I like the shooting system? Not particularly. I think I would like it a lot more, though, with the smaller green window the way it is right now, if you had a guaranteed green window, not RNG to your jump shots and stuff like that, because we don't need full bars. We don't need missing shots to hit the green window of the other shots because they changed your green window by 3 milliseconds. Like, I just don't think this needs to be the way that the game is, and right now it is, and it's screwing with everybody shooting, and I still think people with Zens are going to have an advantage no matter what. I mean, literally, go look at Ty's video on playing a Zener in King of the Court this past weekend. Like, Zens are going to still have an advantage no matter what. Reward players for being good at shooting. It creates a skill gap. Right now, the way they have the shooting system doesn't feel like it creates much of a skill gap. In fact, it feels like it packs everybody more together. And I just don't get it. So, just my thoughts. Y'all don't have to agree with me. I'd be interested to hear y'all's thoughts on shooting and what y'all think maybe should be changed or that type of stuff. But I hope y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. Leave a comment and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.